Great. Welcome to this complete course on medical student study guide. Using my own experience as a medical student and what I've learned up to this point, and also using ChatGPT and what it recommends. So yeah, it's not just my personal experience; it's also plugging in using AI. So I think we're going to cover most things here. I'll let you know what we're covering. So you will learn 4 modules. First of all, how to study effectively, productivity hacks, stress management and self-care, and finally exam preparation and test-taking strategies. Hopefully 4 important topics you will be interested in as a medical student. First module, how to effectively study, I will talk about active learning strategies, note-taking methods, memory enhancement, and time management. Let's jump right into active learning strategies. So let's start with concept mapping. This technique involves creating a visual representation of the relationship between different concepts. You might also know it as mind mapping, brainstorming. It's basically just a good visual aid, especially useful in topics when you're trying to link certain things, group certain things, categorize things, potentially anatomy. It organizes information logically and lets you see the big picture. So anatomy, physiology, and it's good just to, especially if you're a visual learner, just to have that down, mind mapping, just having understanding the connections between different things and being able to categorize them in a good way. Self-testing is another effective way to enhance your learning. The idea is simple: regularly testing yourself on the material you're studying. So it's not just about reading and understanding the information, it's about the ability to recall that information. And every time you test yourself, you're testing those neural pathways you built up and in getting that information. So that's a very important thing you should not neglect. It's not just about reading, it's not just about understanding or listening or absorbing, it's also about information recall. So that's why testing yourself is very important. Okay. So you could use flashcards, practice questions, or online quizzes to test yourself. You could use friends, family, or you could even just ask yourself questions. But the key is just active recall, rather than just passively reviewing your notes. Okay, and it's very good of identifying your strengths, what you're good at, what you're able to really recall fast, and your weaknesses where you're really struggling or kind of blanking. So it's really good for that awareness. And the other thing it does is it reduces exam anxiety by familiarizing yourself with the format and style of questions you might encounter. For example, if you're studying for OSCEs, you don't want to be sitting down looking at lectures or writing notes. That may have a place, but most of your time you want to be in that environment where you're asked questions, where you're put on the spot, where you feel that real-time sort of pressure, and then you have to recall that in real time. So it's good for reducing exam anxiety by exposing yourself to a similar style of which the exam will happen in. Lastly, teaching others. I think this is a very important thing to say in active learning strategies. What I'm doing now is very good for my own learning because I have had to try and condense my knowledge into a simple way to teach others. And even what I'm doing now, speaking through it, it's reinforcing my own understanding. And it's really about breaking it into simple concepts. So it leverages the power of explaining concepts to someone else, reinforces your own learning. Okay, so by incorporating these 3 simple techniques, active learning strategies, concept mapping, self-testing regularly, and then going on to teach others, you will really have a firm grasp of the knowledge and will hopefully improve your academic performance. make studying more engaging, more effective, and more fun. Okay, let's move on to our next topic in the first module. So note-taking methods. So note-taking is very important. This is the gathering of information. This is when you're exposed to new information, whether it be lectures, practical simulations, placements, any advice or tip, you want to be able to remember it, and you don't want to just hear it once, because eventually you'll potentially forget it. You want to reinforce it. You've already done the hard work. You've found something interesting or something useful. You just need to write this down so you can come back to it. Back even when I was in med school, a lot of people were taking notes with pen and paper. I think more and more, obviously, we're moving towards a more digital way of taking notes. It's faster, you can access it better, so whether that being on your phone or your laptop. So I'm going to talk you through a few ways in which you can take notes better. First one being Cornell Notes. So this is a system, divides your note page into 3 sections: notes, cues, and summary. So the largest section is for your main notes, where you jot down key points, say during the lectures. The left-hand column is for cues or questions, which you will fill in after the class. So these help you review and quiz yourself on the material. And then at the bottom, write a brief summary of the notes. This helps reinforce the main ideas and improves retention. So it's just a way of promoting active engagement. Obviously, there's some element of just writing down the information or what you're learning or listening to in real time. But the second section then is asking yourself questions, and third, summarizing it. So that really promotes engagement rather than just, gathering of it. Mind mapping, we spoke about briefly before. Another just a good way to take notes as well. We've talked about that basically. Digital tools. As I said, advancement of technology, make use of it, make use of, Notion, make use of OneNote, make use of Evernote, whatever one you prefer. It's just a good way of categorizing it, splitting it into topics, having the information in one place, and then you can customize it yourself. I think it's very important to have a digital sort of second brain in today's age. Again, you can probably see it on your phone as well, so it's easy access, easy to write down whenever you get new information. And it's just important to stick to one, have a system, and then you can also potentially make it searchable, so you can search for things. So just whatever one you prefer, stick to it. Okay, so by incorporating Cornell Notes, mind mapping, digital tools, your note taking will go from just sort of boring information collection to more of an engaging process, and you will see that it's not just about gathering the information, but it's also about categorizing it, making it searchable and easy to come back to, and summarizing it, engaging your learning, and writing it in a way that makes sense to you, because that's important. Okay, now we will go on to memory enhancement. So this is in this section, we'll explore 3 powerful techniques: spaced repetition, mnemonics, and visualization techniques. These strategies will help you improve your memory retention and recall, essential for mastering medical school. Okay. So spaced repetition is a common one you might have heard of. It involves reviewing information at increasing intervals to strengthen your long-term memory. So you want to be exposed to the fact or the information early on, and then you want to test yourself pretty soon after and see how much you know of it, and then you just want to increase that time of which you test yourself over a period of time. until you really know it. So just increase that space out until it sticks. Okay. Then we have mnemonics. So again, a simple one, but mnemonics, you can remember a word and then the word becomes a much larger bit of information. Yep, definitely leverage mnemonics. Visualization techniques. So this involves creating mental images and pictures of information instead of just remembering words. You want to be able to have a mental picture sometimes of it, because your brain just remembers pictures vividly more than just sort of boring words. Okay, so for example, if you're trying to remember the steps of a biochemical pathway, visualize each step as a vivid image or part of a story. You can also use the method of loci, where you associate information with specific locations in a familiar place, like your home. So by visualizing walking through your home and placing pieces of information in each room, you create a mental map that helps with recall. So yeah, it turns abstract concepts into concrete images, making them easier to remember. So hopefully incorporating spaced repetition, mnemonics, and visualization techniques, you'll significantly enhance your memory, retention, and recall. Okay, next we're going to go on to time management. We will discuss the Pomodoro technique, time blocking, and prioritization method. So let's start with the Pomodoro technique. This method involves working in focused intervals, typically 25 minutes, followed by a short break. And it's good just to have like a visual timer where you can just be accountable of and just say, okay, within this 25 minutes, I'm going to be focused on this one task without any interruptions or distractions. Whenever you feel like there's a distraction or interruption, just turn your attention back to it and say, you know what, I'm going to have a break after the timer's done. Take about a 5-minute break, repeat this cycle 4 times, then take a longer break, 15 to 30 minutes. So the benefits of this is it improves focus and concentration. It prevents burnout by incorporating regular breaks. You can keep track of how much time you spend on tasks. You're accountable, and you can you're excited to have that break. You know it's around the corner. You have that motivation and that dopamine to get you through because you have a reward system, which is very important. Next, we'll talk about time blocking. So this technique involves scheduling specific blocks of time for different tasks or activities. You want to just spend a bit of time dividing your day into blocks of time dedicated to a specific task. One could be exercise, one could be studying, one could be spending time with friends or family. Again, by allocating time for breaks and specific tasks, you're increasing that accountability. You're increasing the ability to focus on one thing at one time and tolerating less distractions and thinking about all of the things at once. The benefits are it provides structure and clarity to your day, ensures balanced time allocation for different activities, and helps avoid multitasking, ultimately improving productivity. And finally, prioritizing tasks. So just using a prioritization method. It's essential as a doctor and as a medical student to understand you can't do everything, but to prioritize the most important things and work through them. So it's very important you spend time looking at what's the most important thing. So we'll talk about the Eisenhower matrix. This is where you divide tasks into 4 categories. You might have heard of this. Urgent and important, obviously you have to do that straight away. Important but not urgent. You want to allocate time to this, but it's not essential. It has to be done urgently. Urgent but not important, in which case you don't want to really spend any time on that if it's not important. Not urgent and not important, again, don't want to spend time on that. So you want to be focusing on tasks that are important and urgent, delegate or schedule others accordingly. You can then use the ABCDE method, so assign a letter A to E to each task based on its importance and urgency. Tackle A task first, then move on to B, and so on. So it helps identify and focus on high impact tasks, high yielding tasks, tasks which you know you have to do and you feel a lot better having done them, and then creates momentum to do the next hardest task. It reduces overwhelm by breaking down tasks into manageable steps, enhances decision making and time allocation. So by incorporating the Pomodoro technique, time blocking, and prioritization methods into your routine, you'll improve your time management skills and boost your productivity. Next, we'll move on to the second module, productivity hacks. I will talk to you about how you can learn to have an optimal study environment, talk about task management tools, procrastination busters, and maximizing efficiency. So an optimal study environment, this is very important. You want to have a similar place where you study. Like, you don't want to be studying any sort of on the train, on the bus, in a friend's house. You want to be consistent in where you study, where you figure out where you study the best. So it could be a library, could be your own room, but it needs to be a place with minimal distractions, an ergonomic setup, and effective use of music or background noise. So these three strategies will help you create a conducive environment for focused and productive study sessions. So I think the most important thing is just minimal distractions. You want to reduce interruptions and enhance concentration. It needs to be an environment that cultivates your ability to focus on one thing at one time. So the tips for doing this, as I said, go to a library, go to somewhere that's quiet, distraction free. Don't bring your phone with you. If you do, be very disciplined with your phone. Keep it out of arm's reach, turn it off airplane mode, etc. You can even use apps or tools to block distracting websites like Freedom. Okay, and then we're going on to ergonomic setup. So this prevents physical discomfort or strain. So you want to be somewhere that's comfortable. You don't want to have any physical reason why you aren't able to just stay there for a long period of time. It can't be too cold. The seat has to be comfortable. Your back can't be sore, etc. The advantage of this is it also promotes long-term health and well-being, which is something you shouldn't neglect. So the tips are: comfortable chair, put your desk so it's at your eye level so you don't have a lot of neck strain. Adequate lighting to reduce eye strain as well is important. Finally, effective use of music and background noise can be really beneficial. It can enhance focus and block out any distracting sounds that may present itself. This creates a consistent study routine. So the tips are: you can use like whatever works for you, instrumental, classical music, or pretend some sort of like techno beats without any words. You want to avoid any lyrical distractions. And you can use apps or websites that provide background noise like white noise, such as Noisely. So experiment with different types of sound, one that you really like. Maybe it's a motivating sound. You don't find yourself being distracted too much. It kind of gets you into a trance and really enhances your focus. So hopefully by creating a study environment with minimal distractions and ergonomic setup and effective use of music or background noise, you'll enhance your focus and productivity massively. Okay, now we're going to move on to task management tools. So we'll cover 3 key tools: Todoist, Trello, and calendar management. These tools will help you organize tasks, manage your time, and enhance your productivity. So Todoist is a powerful task management app. Basically just helps you organize and prioritize tasks. As they come up, you can write them in. It's an app on your phone. Key features are: you can create tasks with due dates and priorities, organize tasks into projects and subtasks, set recurring tasks and reminders. So the good thing about this is it keeps your to-do list organized, constantly updated, ensures you stay on top of the most high priority deadlines, and you can just take that pressure off your own brain by having it written down somewhere. Trello is another app, mainly on your desktop. It's a visual task management tool. I use it a lot. It uses boards, lists, and cards to organize tasks. Key features are you can create boards for different projects, use lists to represent stages of the project. So it's very good. But yeah, when you're working on a project, you want to have like a planning stage, split it into different sections and structures. You can do this on the board. The benefits are it provides a clear visual overview of your tasks, facilitates project management and collaboration as well. So you can track progress and stay organized. Then you can have a calendar management tool, such as Google Calendar. It really helps you allocate your time effectively, know what's coming up, ensures you're aware of appointments and meetings, and you can take that pressure again off your own brain having to remember this. So it ensures balanced scheduling of tasks and activities. You can even add in different tasks for a particular time as well. So Google Calendar, I really recommend. So the benefits are obviously structured schedule and hopefully reduce the risk of overcommitting and missing deadlines. Okay, procrastination busters. We will cover effective strategies, understanding procrastination, techniques to overcome procrastination, and accountability partners. They will help you beat procrastination finally and enhance your productivity. So everyone procrastinates. I especially have procrastinated. I think it's a big thing. It's really your way to deal with uncomfortable things or putting off things that you really don't want to do. And in today's modern age, with phones, with distractions, with Netflix, etc., it's so easy to procrastinate. So you're not alone if you procrastinate, and it's very good to have some awareness of what it actually is, and then you can really make steps of beating it and setting up systems that will really help you beat it. Okay, so understanding it. So why do you do it in the first place? Reasons include fear of failure, perfectionism, that's a big one, especially with medical students and doctors. We want to be perfect at things. I don't know why. Does it attract perfectionists? Possibly. And also just the nature of the game, medicine, the stakes are high. So it's really, we're constantly striving to be perfect and not making mistakes. But it's very important to realize that everyone's human, everyone's imperfect, and the only way to get better and improve is to really embrace the fact that you're not perfect. Okay, another reason, lack of motivation. So, tips for identifying procrastination triggers: reflect on when and why you tend to procrastinate, keep a journal, and track procrastination habits. So just if you notice yourself putting something off, really understand why. Are you feeling something uncomfortable, fear of failure, etc.? And then there might be a common theme. Maybe it is fear of failure. Maybe that's the reason. And then maybe you just need to learn to embrace failure more. So you identify patterns and underlying causes. And then the techniques to overcome the procrastination are you break tasks into smaller steps so they're more manageable. Divide large tasks into manageable chunks. Focus on completing one small step at a time. And each time you complete the small step, you'll get a little dopamine release and reward and say, yep, you're making progress. It's not about trying to, climb to overcome a whole mountain. It's about taking each step as it comes and really enjoying the process and rewarding yourself for making the process. And you'll just learn to enjoy it better, and also you'll be more productive at actually completing the whole thing, the whole project. So you can set specific and achievable goals, define clear and realistic goals, use SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. You can use the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. It helps build momentum and reduce procrastination. So in this way, it should reduce overwhelm and makes tasks more approachable and build the habit of taking immediate action. Finally, we'll talk about accountability partners. Very important to have accountability partners. Someone to hold you accountable and can motivate you to stay on track. It's also very good to have someone else to think about and realize that they too are also human. They also are making mistakes. They're also procrastinating. They also struggle with things. Maybe you have strengths, they have weaknesses. You can use each other to help each other and basically bring each other up. And you just realize you're not on your own, and like being human is completely acceptable. You're not going to be perfect. It's just about you realizing that and making tips to be better. So tips for finding and working with an accountability partner: you can choose a supportive or reliable friend, classmate, mentor. There's probably also apps where you can get set up with an accountable partner. There's communities, etc. You can set regular check-ins to discuss progress and challenges. You can share goals and deadlines to ensure mutual accountability. I do this with a couple of my friends, like good friends, where we used to meet every week online on Zoom for a while. Now we meet once a month, but it's just a good way to say what has worked well this month, what you want to do more of, what your goals are, etc. So find a good person, good friend, and start using them to keep you accountable. Okay, so by understanding procrastination, you can overcome it. And by partnering with someone, you'll significantly reduce procrastination and boost your productivity. And these will help you take control of your time and achieve your goals. Next, we'll move on to maximizing efficiency. We will talk about batch processing, single tasking versus multitasking, and efficiency v effectiveness. So batch processing is obviously grouping similar tasks together and completing them in one session. So you might have loads of little small tasks that you could scatter throughout the day, but it's more effective to just batch them up, sit down and do all of them at one time. It reduces the time lost in switching between different types of tasks. That really is key. Switching is really where you lose time. It really is hard to focus back in on something once you've switched your focus. So examples of batch tasking could be responding to emails at a set time each day. So rather than just checking your phone, responding to them at random times, it's like, you know what, I have a specific time where I respond to my emails. That's in the evening. And all of my emails can build up throughout the day until then, but I'm not going to respond to them until that time. And it just puts you in a less reactive mood, reduces anxiety. You have a proactive system with dealing with this, and that's important. Grouping study tasks by subject or type. So it could be when you're note-taking or dealing with practice questions, you just say you're going to focus on this particular category. And hopefully this just frees up more time for deep work and complex tasks. So single tasking versus multitasking. Single tasking is obviously the most important thing, and it's the most fulfilling as well. When you deal with multiple tasks, your brain is a bit more restless. You can feel more anxious. You can feel more overwhelmed. You can feel more stressed. Focusing on one task keeps it simple, can get you into a flow state, and can make you feel in control. And also it will just be more effective and productive. So the tips are: you prioritize tasks, you tackle them one by one, eliminate distractions, set specific time blocks for each task. Okay. So now we have to understand the difference between efficiency and effectiveness. So efficiency is completing tasks quickly with minimal wasted effort, and effectiveness is completing the right tasks that have the most significant impact or high yield. And I think this is arguably more important. It's not about how fast you do something, it's about actually choosing what you're doing. There's only so many hours in the day, and you don't want to be burnt out. You have to have the discipline and the intelligence to say, no, there's no point me focusing my energy on this, doing something I don't want, something that's not going to get me to where I want to go, etc. So it's all about focusing on the right tasks. So if you can have effectiveness and efficiency, then you're onto a winner. So you want to do the right things at the right times. This is all about prioritizing. So you can use the 80-20 rule or the Pareto principle. So it's focusing on 20% of tasks that yield 80% of the results. And then you can just regularly review and reflect, adjust your priorities to ensure alignment with your goals. So this maximizes productivity by working smarter, not just harder, ensures that your efforts lead to meaningful progress, helps achieve both short-term and long-term goals efficiently. So hopefully incorporating batch processing, single tasking, and balancing efficiency and effectiveness, you'll really maximize your study efficiency and productivity. And they'll help you make the most of your time and achieve your academic goals. So we're going on to the third module, which is stress management and self-care. This is very important, and you want to make sure you're constantly on top of, because it can come back and bite you. You really want to optimize your mindset and how you feel in order to really get the best out of your studying and your exam results. And also just your personal fulfillment and joy. And I'll tell you exactly how you do that. So we'll talk about techniques, benefits, apps, resources, and incorporating mindfulness into your daily routine. We'll talk about mindfulness, meditation, physical health, mental health, and work-life balance. So, mindfulness and meditation. So, what is it? Basically, it's about being present in the moment without judgment. It's about being very aware and focused on one thing, and all without judgment. So it's about focused attention and awareness. Common techniques include breathing exercises, focusing on your breath to anchor your mind. Practice deep, slow breathing to promote relaxation. And you can do this regularly. In the morning or in the evening are the best times to do it. Set times in the day. You can do a body scan, so you physically just are aware of your body from head to toe. Mentally scan down your body, noticing your sensations. This can help release tension and improve your body awareness. You can even have guided meditations, listen to a video or use apps. This will just guide you through the practice and just allow you to guide you through where you focus your awareness. Other ones include visualization, loving kindness, or mantra repetitions. So the benefits of this are reduces stress and anxiety, not just in the short term, but in the long term. It enhances focus and concentration, improves your emotional regulation and overall mental health. It allows you to deal with stressful situations in a better way when they come up, and you have a system to deal with them as well. So, apps and resources are very convenient to support your practice. They will provide guided sessions, timers, and progress tracking, and give you the motivation to keep going. So I really recommend Headspace. That was the first app that got me into it. The other ones include Calm, Insight Timer. So it's a really good idea to have an app just even to start with. It tracks your progresses, it builds a consistent habit, and I think that's the most important thing when it comes to a meditation or mindful routine, is building that habit, doing it every day, not just doing it once in a while or whenever you feel like it, because that's when you really see the results over time. Over 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you'll really see that momentum if you just consistently are having a routine every day. So the tips are how you integrate it into your daily life as well. You can start with short sessions, 5 to 10 minutes. Gradually increase the duration as you become more comfortable. And having a dedicated, quiet, comfortable space where you do your meditation. Minimize distractions. And you'll hopefully start seeing the mindfulness in daily activities as well. So it could be you're out for a walk, or even while you're eating or doing chores, you'll just feel less of a need to distract yourself with your phone or with other dopamine or stimulating things. You'll really fall in love with the stillness and the peace of doing one task. So in this way, your meditation routine will fuel your daily living, and your daily living will fuel your meditation practice as well. So the benefits of a regular practice are you can develop a habit of mindfulness and stress management, enhances your overall well-being, resilience, and will hopefully impact your ability to cope under pressure, improve your academic performance as well. Physical health. We all know the importance of physical health. I'm going to tell you about exercise, nutrition tips, sustained energy, and sleep hygiene. So obviously it boosts energy levels and improves concentration. Types of exercise are aerobic exercise, running, cycling, swimming. Improves not just your cardiovascular health, increases your stamina, releases endorphins that last throughout the day or certainly for a few hours. Strength training is including weightlifting, bodyweight exercises, builds muscle, enhances metabolism. And then flexibility exercises include yoga, stretching routines, improves flexibility, reduces injury risk. So, tips for incorporating exercise into your daily routine: scheduling regular workouts. You want to aim for 20 to 30 minutes at least in a day. And choose activities you naturally find interesting too. You have a good community around and you're motivated to turn up. You could combine different types of exercises for a balanced fitness routine. So not just doing gym sort of every day. You want to also have cardio sessions. You want to have stretching sessions. So it's about balance. Okay, so nutrition is very important as well. You could do as much exercise as you want, but you need the nutrition and the diet to give you that energy and to recover and to refuel, to give your brain that energy for optimal performance. So this supports overall health and immune function and your ability to focus and perform during your academic studies and exams. So obviously you want a balanced diet, fruits, vegetables, proteins, whole grains. Avoid excessive sugar and processed foods. Hydration is extremely important and overlooked. You need to drink plenty of water throughout the day. Limit caffeinated and sugary beverages. And just have healthy snacks. The goal is to maintain steady energy levels, not to have the big spikes of sugar and the big come downs. You want to have slow, sustained release of sugar. In this way you will feel more energy for longer, improve your overall well-being, your focus and your concentration. Sleep, the final very important thing, essential for physical and mental recovery. It improves memory, mood, and cognitive performance. Tips for good sleep are consistent sleep schedule, so go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends, even on holidays. Your mental health will thank you for that. And when it comes to Monday morning, it'll just be another sleeping pattern for you, because you've been going to bed at this time, you've been waking up at this time for the past 30, 40, 50 days. It'll just be another day. It won't be a shock. Whereas if every Monday morning is trying to break out of a bad weekend, early morning, late nighter, then that's going to be a shock. So you want to create a dark, quiet, and cool bedroom. You want to use comfortable bedding and minimize electronic devices before bed. you want to have a pre-sleep routine, so something you do naturally to wind down. Develop a relaxing bedtime routine. So this might be reading for a while, might be taking a warm bath, might be, engaging in your mindfulness or meditation routine or journaling. You don't want to be having much caffeine or heavy meals or doing intense exercise in the run up towards sleep. So the benefits are this enhances alertness and concentration, supports physical health and immune function, reduces stress and improves mood. Okay, let's just talk about mental health briefly. So you could be doing these things, and I think that is the large portion of your mental health. But of course, as a medical student and just as a human growing up, there's going to be very stressful things that will affect your mental health, will potentially contribute to burnout, in which case you need more support. And I'm going to talk about recognizing burnout, counselling and supportive resources, and building a supportive network. And this shouldn't be overlooked and is a sign of strength if you can recognize and be aware of this when you need it, rather than sort of neglecting it or putting it off. Having a positive outlook on mental health is very important. So, burnout, what is it? Early identification helps it from coming into something more serious or preventing long-term mental and physical health issues. So it enables timely intervention and recovery. The signs of burnout are chronic fatigue, lack of energy, decreased performance and motivation, emotional exhaustion and irritability, feelings of detachment or cynicism, lack of empathy. The tips for preventing this are obviously doing all the good stuff we talked about in the last section: sleep, exercise, diet, but also rewarding yourself, taking breaks, having a social circle, practicing self-care, set realistic goals and expectations, not trying to constantly push for something that's far out of your reach or really expecting that. It's about managing your workload, maintaining a healthy work-life balance. Counselling and support resources are very important. They are offered at most universities and at most jobs, or if not, you can easily access them online. Things like BetterHelp are pretty easy to link you to a licensed counsellor where you can just talk. So this just reduces feelings of isolation and helps manage stress. It also puts things into perspective, so it shares the load. And you will learn access to coping tools, stress management techniques, emotional support and understanding. Finally, building a support network is will enhance resilience and well-being. So the tips to do that are obviously connect with peers, join study groups, clubs or organizations, ones that bring your energy up and don't take your energy away, ones where your values you're aligned with. Maybe it's a sport club, maybe it's a religion club, maybe it's a church, maybe it's yoga or debate society or acting, whatever you're interested in. It's a good way to just meet friends, do it for the fun. And you might be someone that likes, is quite extroverted and likes a big group of people, or you like just maybe hanging out with one or two friends or one person at a time, and that's fine as well. Also, staying in touch with family and friends, regular communication with old friends and for those that love you, is good. You can seek mentorship, find mentors, can offer guidance and advice. This again reduces feelings of loneliness and isolation. Provide different perspectives and advice. So hopefully by recognizing burnout, having access to counselling, even prophylactically, and building a strong support network and social network can be very protective and rewarding for you and help your academic stress and personal well-being. Finally, work-life balance. We'll explore setting boundaries, making time for hobbies and relaxation, and maintaining social connections. So, setting boundaries prevents burnout and maintains mental health. It's about saying no to things. It's about saying, I don't want to do that pub quiz that I'm not going to enjoy, or I don't want to go out to the clubs, or, it's recognizing, do you really want to do that, or are you doing something for the sake of other people? This enhances your focus and productivity by just allocating the time for what you actually want to do and want to achieve, and then when you're relaxing, doing something that actually recharges you. So tips for setting effective boundaries: define clear study and rest times, communicate your boundaries to your family and friends, learn to say no, as I talked about. And then the benefits are dedicated time for both study and relaxation, and you're not in two minds. When you're relaxing, when you're studying, you're studying. You don't want to be somewhere and feel guilty for studying, and you don't want to be studying and feel guilty for not winding down and enjoying it. You want to do one thing at one time. So make time for hobbies and relaxation. That's very important. This provides a mental break and reduces stress. You want to do something that's just silly, fun, no purpose to it, but just something you really enjoy. Enhances creativity and problem solving, and gives you a good perspective on life. It's not all about the serious stuff. It's also about enjoying yourself. So you can schedule regular leisure activities, practice relaxation techniques we talked about, take short breaks between study sessions. Finally, maintaining social connections, we talked about briefly in the last section. Community belonging is very important. Okay. So, last module, exam preparation, how to optimize that, and the test taking strategies. I'm going to talk to you about creating an effective study schedule, practice exams and question banks, test taking strategies, and post-exam review. I think the most important, or the most nervous and anxious and stress-causing aspect of medical school are these high-pressure exams. You have to pass them. If you fail them, you have to repeat them, repeat the year, fail, drop out of medical school. That's what you're worried about. These exams get built up massively, and they're often very challenging and hard. So, creating an effective study schedule. First thing we'll talk about is long-term planning. Long-term planning provides you with a clear roadmap of your studies. It helps manage your workload and prevents last-minute cramming. Tips for effective long-term planning are: set academic goals at the start of the year. Define your goals clearly. What do you want out of this year? Do you want to be the top student? Do you want to just pass? Do you want to get average? Don't set your expectations too high unless you're prepared to commit to it. Break down the syllabus. Define what exactly you need to know, and break this down into manageable units or chapters. Create a timeline. Allocate time for each unit, including review periods and exams. So this ensures comprehensive coverage of all topics, reduces stress by spreading the load and the workload over time, not just in the last few weeks or months. And you can really focus on one thing at one time. Weekly review sessions. So this really assesses where you're at, reinforces learning and improves retention, identifies areas that you need further review, your strengths, your weaknesses. Just cultivating that self-awareness is very important. Instead of just blindly studying something from start to finish, having time to assess what's working for you well, what's not, what could you do better, what should you put more of a focus on, etc. Schedule regular review times. That's important. Use active recall and self-testing. And summarize key points. So again, you can just summarize what you've learned so far and reinforce that. This keeps information fresh and reinforces learning. Okay. And then section 3 will be intensive review periods. What is the point of intensive review periods? Well, it prepares you thoroughly for exams and assessments. So this might be attending crash courses. It might be, changing your work from 2 or 3 hours of studying a day to 6 hours of studying a day in the last month. And, it's not to be undervalued. You don't want to leave everything to the last minute, but at the same time, it's good to have that intensity just to really, get your brain absorbed on the topics. So you want to plan intensive review sessions before exams, allocate specific periods, use active study techniques that we talked about, prioritize different topics. So the benefits are increases exam readiness and confidence, improves mastery of complex topics, reduces exam-related stress and anxiety. So by incorporating the long-term vision and the long-term planning, setting realistic expectations of what you want, focusing specifically on the syllable and what you need to know, having weekly review sessions of what's working well, what you've learned so far, what you still need to know, and having that self-awareness, as well as then planning for intensive periods of time where you can really cram a particular thing, can really lead for you to have great preparation throughout the year and to be on top of things, essentially. So in this section we will explore how you can use past papers, online resources and apps and group study sessions. So using past papers is good because it familiarizes you with the exam format and the question types. This is good to know from the start, so you have focused learning. Helps identify commonly tested topics and areas of focus. So you could also simulate exam conditions, time yourself, complete past papers under exam-like conditions, review and analyze your answers, focus on patterns that come up. The benefits are improves time management, exam technique, increases confidence and reduces exam anxiety. Online resources and apps. They offer a wide range of practice questions and mock exams. It provides you with immediate feedback and explanations. You can use apps such as UpToDate, Osmosis, Online MedEd. There's apps as well like Anki and Quizlet. They allow for creating and sharing flashcards and quizzes. And you can access them at any time, anywhere for flexible studying, allows for targeted practice on specific topics or weaknesses. And you can use these apps to track your own progress and identify areas that need improvement. And I think just shaking up and using apps rather than just your own information and way of things can give you a different perspective. They can give you different motivation, things like PassMed even I used. It was good to just kind of give you that reward every time you got a question right and you were excited to try and improve on that. So it's good for that. Group study sessions is good for collaborative learning and knowledge sharing. I think 1 + 1 can often equal more than the sum of its individual parts. So you can really synergize, you can bounce off ideas. People have different strengths, people have different weaknesses, so you can come together and have different perspectives. Organizing regular sessions is a good idea. Having weekly session and sticking to it, assigning roles and topics for each members, or someone teaches something each time. Practice teaching and quizzing each other, which again is good for learning. The benefits are you can understand through discussion and explanation. Someone might understand and will be able to explain to someone, and also teaching and explaining is good for them. Provides motivation, accountability, support, identifies and fills knowledge gaps. You can see what other people are doing, what works for them, what is to be expected, what's not, gives you a sense of realistic expectation. So especially when you're revising for OSCEs, you want to be around people, you want to be tested by people, you want to be in a group learning situation because that's how your exam is going to be tested on. Conclusion, using past papers, leveraging online resources and apps, and participating in group study can be really good for effectively preparing for exams and deepen your understanding of the material. Test taking strategies. So, we'll explore time management during exams, handling of different question types, and techniques for reducing test anxiety. So, time management obviously ensures you complete all the questions within the allocated time. It helps allocate appropriate time to each section or question. So the tips are you want to quickly scan the entire exam to understand its structure and question types and how long it is. And then allocate time based on question weight. Spend more time on high value questions and less on shorter, easier ones. Use a timer, use a watch, keep track of time to ensure you're on track. The benefits are reduces risk of leaving questions unanswered, enhances focus and reduces stress during the exam, and handling different question types. It's important to understand the different question types, such as multi-choice questions. Read the questions carefully and eliminate clearly the wrong answers. So you can say it's definitely not that one, it's definitely not that one, it must be between this one or this one. Consider all options before selecting the best answer. Short answer questions, be concise and focus on key points. Provide specific examples or details if applicable. Essay questions, plan your answer with a brief outline before you start into it. Structure your response with an introduction, body, and conclusion. So this enhances accuracy and completeness of your answers. It targets what the examiner is looking for. Increases confidence in tackling different question formats. Okay, so how can you reduce your test anxiety? The techniques are preparation, obviously. We've talked about this. Having adequate and consistent preparation will make you feel more confident and ready for the exam. Use practice exams and question banks to build familiarity. Relaxation techniques, what we talked about as well. Self-care, regular self-care, avoiding burnout, treating yourself well, having a positive mindset, cultivating an optimistic approach, replace negative thoughts with positive affirmations, focus on strengths rather than weaknesses, and on your past successes. Also, putting things into perspective. It's only an exam. What would happen in the worst case scenario? You know, it'll be okay. Spend a bit of time thinking about the worst case scenario. It's not life or death. So this enhances calmness and clarity during your exams, reduce physical and mental stress, boosts confidence and performance. By managing your time effectively, understanding how to handle different questions, and using these techniques will hopefully lead you to a better exam experience. Okay, finally, the last section is going to be on post-exam review. We'll explore analysing mistakes, seeking feedback, and continuous improvement. These strategies will help you learn from your exams, improve future performance, and achieve your academic goals. Analysing mistakes. So it's very important to learn from your mistakes. You can identify areas of weaknesses and misunderstanding, provides insight in how to improve your future exams. So tips for effectively analysing mistakes. Review incorrect answers. Go through each wrong answer to understand why you got it wrong. Identify patterns. Look for recurring types of errors, such as misreading questions or lacking knowledge. Note the correct answer. Write down the correct answer and explanations to solidify your understanding. So this enhances learning and retention of correct information and helps avoid repeating the same mistake. Seeking feedback. It's important to seek feedback from people, get external insights and perspectives on your performance, helps address any blind spots and increase your self-awareness, identify areas for improvement and things to focus on. You don't want to be that person that never learns from their mistake, has no ability to see what they lack or what they need to improve on. You don't want to be stubborn. You want to be open-minded and be able to learn on your weaknesses. So you can actually proactively ask your instructors or tutors for feedback, and you can just practice this. It's really uncomfortable at the start, but if you are proactively seeking out information, it means you're not scared of whenever you do get the feedback, reactively. So proactively doing it really cultivates that sense of identity that you're a learner, you're looking for improvement, it's okay to not be perfect. You can discuss with classmates as well, and then just using that feedback to guide your study. So, continuous improvement and importance of continuous improvement. We are never going to be perfect. We're always going to be continuous improvement. You need to identify as the learner, as the person who's always improving. This promotes ongoing learning and development. This will never stop. Ensures steady progress towards academic goals. So the tips for doing this are, as we said, post-exam analysis, specific achievable goals for future exams, adjust your study strategies based on what worked well and what didn't, regular review material. This encourages a proactive approach to learning, encourages self-awareness, and enhances academic performance over time. Build a strong foundation for future learning and long-term success. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that PowerPoint on study materials as a medical student. I wish I incorporated all of these into my experience. These are more things I wish I would do now if I was a medical student. But even if you use some of these, they will hopefully guide you into a successful study routine, looking after yourself, and performing well in your exams. So let me know if this helps you. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to do a video on. Thanks for listening.